Mr. Godinez.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I just wanted to begin by saying it's an honor, and I'm very humbled to be here amongst you all and everybody in this room. I'm here in support of the board adopting many of the rules, particularly the rule requiring a written statement of position. As an organizer, I have been able to see firsthand how an employer making an argument without merit can cause disarray and frustration for the workers seeking to organize. Case in point, first of all, my name is Bobby Godinez, and I'm an organizer for the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers. Going back to the case in point, we filed a petition for a group of firefighters, and the employer claimed that the firefighters were security guards and therefore should be excluded from the act. It was my duty to bring this to the firefighters' attention, and many of them were frustrated. They all take pride in their firefighter duties, and separately, they all knew that the employer had a separate department dedicated to security guards. They wore different uniforms. Firefighters knew the security guards, but they did not perform any of the security guard functions. During this process, I lost contact with some of the firefighters. We started with the majority of the support, and I believe this claim actually took some wind out of the sail and the momentum of the election process. And with that being said, at hearing, the employer brought forth several witnesses, none of which could substantiate the claims that the firefighters were security guards, and they did not perform any security guard functions or policing duties. And ultimately, the regional director ruled that the firefighters were not guards. But again, this brought forth frustration with the firefighters, and they just couldn't believe it. I strongly believe that with the rule for a written statement of position, that could have been a buffer, which the board could have decided where the employer did not have substantial evidence to proceed with this claim during a hearing, and in theory could have actually kept the momentum and kept the firefighters' willingness to go forward and organize freely. In closing, I strongly support the rule for a written statement of position in advance of a pre-election hearing, specifically to safeguard the rights for workers to organize freely and fairly and to participate in elections under those.
As an organizer, can you describe your experience, if any, with respect to getting employees to testify at a hearing once you know what the issues are?
It's very difficult to get the employees involved into coming to a hearing. However, during that process, once again, the firefighters took pride in their duties. Once, a few of them really took responsibility and said, "No, I'm not going to let this happen. It's come too far. I'm willing to do whatever it takes," and came forward on the union's behalf and answered testimony. And again, just basically, it was a frivolous argument on the employer's part. They did not perform any security guard functions. And again, it's very difficult, to answer your question, to get workers to come forward in a hearing setting.
Do you recall how long it took between the petition and the actual election, the time went?
For that particular election,
yes.
It was 1 year.
1 year.
Yes, sir.
And actually, I had a follow-up question, which was similar. Do you recall what was the time from the filing of the petition in the firefighter case and the start of the hearing?
I'm sorry, I don't know that time. I can't give you a truthful answer on that one.
Thank you. Okay.
Just first, thanks for coming. Second of all, is just so I understand your point of view here, being an on-the-ground organizer, is it basically that if an employer takes a frivolous position, employees should know about it before the hearing?
And so in this case, in this particular case that I'm testifying on, what it did was it took the wind out of the sail of the campaign. So if it's a frivolous issue and the employees never learned about it, and it was put out before hearing, there would be no need for testimony. There would be no need for hearing. I think the campaign would have continued the momentum it had with a majority of the support, and we would have had a better outcome. The workers would have had a better opportunity to have voted freely without bias.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all very much.